What's going on, YouTube? It's Richawd back with another video. Just got home, man, from work. It's been today was a pretty long day, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But you know, that's what it's all about, eh? Breaking your balls at work all day. But you know, you guys may wonder why I keep beating this dead horse. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm ambushing this horse because it just alarms me to see how many men are lost and just struggling mentally, struggling to keep going. People in general, but I speak for man because I am a man. And typically as men, even me being a content creator who's outspoken, for some people it can be an attractive trait. For some people it can be an unattractive trait. This is why a lot of men choose to just suffer in silence, because of the scrutiny that comes with a man who expresses himself. It's seen as weak because men are programming. How we're designed is we just get things done. We're the doers, right? We're the doers, the providers, the protectors. We're the problem solvers. That's where we're supposed to be. A leader is supposed to be a problem solver. If you were working at a job and your leader suddenly starts complaining and looks down and docile about how things are going at the job, then everybody's going to be down and docile about how things are going at the job, because the leader creates the energy. So if somebody sees you as a man and you're supposed to be a so-called leader and your energy is down, they're not going to respect you as a man, because how are you going to really truly be a man if you can't lead? And you can't lead if you can't control your emotions. So this puts a lot of guys in a tough space, because you don't want to be looked at as weak. You know you're strong. You fight through things every day, but it's like, damn, it's hard out here for a pimp. It's hard out here for a brother. We got it hard, bro, with just how the system is set up, having to work, just having the weight of life on your shoulders, trying to figure out a life for yourself in a world that's so backwards, working at these jobs, doing all the heavy lifting and the hard labor. We're the builders, we're the laborers. We've been like that since the beginning of time. We've been laborers. We've been workers. We've been put here to do a great work. And that's a heavy load to carry. But that is the responsibility. That is the burden that has been given to a man. Whom much is given, much is required. Much is required of us as men. Right? And I feel like spaces like this, bro, is just important, because with everything that I just said, a lot of times as a man, you just put everything under the rug. You just hold things in. People wonder why men are so aggressive. You don't know how much the average brother you're going across is holding in, bro. And it's some dudes that are more feminine and they, are constantly emotional and always having outbursts. This is because motherfuckers is going through things, bro. And a lot of men have these explosions because they don't have enough healthy outlets or enough healthy spaces like what I'm trying to create over here on Iron Richawd, where you can talk about certain issues, certain real sensitive issues that you probably wouldn't talk about anybody, but you can talk about it with old Richawd over here. I'll listen. I'll be an open ear, and I'll tell you, things that we can build. Iron sharpen iron. We can build. And if you're feeling weak, we can build. This is an environment to build minds up, bro. Not just men. Anybody can listen to this, and you can gain something mentally, bro. Because what you got to understand is you're listening to a very traumatized person, right? You're listening to a person that has battled depression his whole life. You're listening to a person that deals with anxiety. You're dealing with the person who has had, unaliving thoughts before. You're dealing with the person who has been through a lot of things. But I'm still here to tell the tale, right? Everything that I've gone through has built wisdom and has built me to this point where I am now, where it's like, all right, I understand the reality. The reality is harsh. Excuse me. The reality is harsh, man, of what we're faced with as men, what our responsibility is. It's a huge burden to have to lead. right? A lot of men aren't prepared for leadership. A lot of men aren't ready for leadership. One of the hardest things about leadership is preparing for a battle, not knowing what the outcome is going to be. That's a lot that comes with being a man. A lot of times you go into your job and you know it's going to be a battle and you don't quite know what the outcome of that battle is going to be. Some days, your job gets the best of you, some days you have good days, but what I'm trying to get at is you have to constantly go into these battles with your life on the line pretty much, bro, as a man. You're in these situations where you're at your job and your livelihood is on the line. Right, how you perform, how you conduct yourself. You're dealing with all these things and you have to be able to maintain frame in these environments. And it's very hard. It's why a lot of men, get fired from jobs, struggle to keep a job, don't want to work a job because, it's hard to deal with the structure that is outside of your control. That's one of the main things I hate about working is that you're in a structure that is outside of your control. You can't really improvise as much. You're not as free-willed. Everything is so controlled. They want to control everything you're doing, right? When, I'm the type of person, I believe as long as you get the results that are needed, the route that you take to get those results shouldn't really matter as long as the results are there. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. As long as the numbers aren't lying and you're being productive, I don't understand why certain jobs, are so nitpicky about how you do it. To me, it's like if you're getting it done, you're getting it done, bro. Like, but in these environments, bro, it's their way or the highway. And that's frustrating for a lot of people and a lot of men. But here's what I want to get at, bro. Y'all know me. I'm a talker. I'll talk your ear off. All of this that we face, we need spaces like this where we can unify, talk about the problems, vent about it, get it off our chest, bro. It's a lot of shit dudes just need to get off their chest, bro. You hear about these dudes that go and do mass, unalivings at schools and things like that, bro. And it's like, you just wonder where the mind goes, man. Like, the mind is a very powerful thing. I speak about at work, bro. One of the hardest things or one of the main things that you have to learn how to conquer is time. Right? Time is a odd thing, bro. It really is. You think when you was a kid, it seemed like time was going so slow. Time chooses when it wants to speed up and not speed up. Like, when you're at the end of your shift and you're sitting in front of the time clock. If you just sit in front of that time clock and just look at the time and wait for it to be time for you to clock out, it's gonna feel like time slowed down times 5. It's gonna feel like time is taking forever. But if you look at your phone during that same time, it's gonna seem like time just flew by. 2 minutes went by. And if you were standing by the clock and another person was on their phone, their relationship or their connection to time was different during that same span of time. It was still 2 minutes, but the time felt different, right? Because it's all mental. When you go on your phone, you have mentally entered in a portal. These phones are portals. You've mentally entered in a portal, another place. Your mind has erased the present, right? That's why so many people now live outside of the present, because it's like when time is going slow, things feel dreadful. You ever get pulled over by the police? Time slows down a little bit. You probably only got pulled over for about 10 to 15 minutes, but it felt like you was pulled over for an hour or 2. Goddamn 3 for real. You're on edge. If you drive, you better catch me riding dirty. You riding dirty out here, you know what I'm saying? I hope they don't search the car. Like, it's all type of shit going through your mind, bro. And it feels like hours went by, but really it was only about 10 to 15 minutes. Because now you're worried. Now you're present, right? When you're present, things are a lot slower. That's why meditation, is interesting, because meditation puts you presently in the moment, in tune, right? It slows everything down. Sometimes you can feel overwhelmed and overstimulated. That's why meditation is great, because it just slows everything down, right? You can calm down, you can think, you can breathe. It's like just breathe. You know, that's why meditation is great, bro, because it just silences everything. It slows things down a bit. Because sometimes life can feel like it's moving a little too fast, especially once you get older, man. When you was a kid, man, that's why, hey, man, when you was a kid, your OGs would tell you, man, hey, cherish being a kid. You gonna miss it one day. Goddamn, that one day is come, goddamn. That one day is here. That one day has arrived. I see what y'all talking about. I'm finna be telling my nephew and my niece the same thing. Y'all better cherish being a goddamn kid. Y'all better cherish that shit. This is the time of your life. I know things may seem slow and you impatient and you got all these questions, and this, embrace it. Embrace it. Because once you get out into the real world, trust me, things speed up. And it's like trying to cross the train tracks. When the train is going slow, it's easy to find your little gap where you can cross. But now you speed up traffic and everything's going. I'll do a better analogy. It's easy to cross the street when cars are going slow, if you're on a regular driving street. But try crossing the street on the freeway. It's damn near impossible because things is going too fast, right? While things is going at your pace, embrace it. Anybody who's young, because once you get out into this world, man, everything speeds up. And what I want to leave y'all with, because this isn't going to be a long video, I need some rest, bro. Hey, man, I done figured it out, bro. You know why they call warehouses, bro? I ain't gonna lie, I got this off the internet, but I'm at like I figured it out. You know why they call the warehouses, bro? Because it's gonna wear your ass out before you get back to the house, bro. I promise you. I promise you, especially if you actually in there working. Like, I ain't gonna lie, at a job like a warehouse, especially if you working 10, 12 hours, bro. Like, here's what I learned from Amazon, because Amazon's my second warehouse job. My first ever, where was I working my first warehouse job? I forget the name of that company. Anyway, UPS. UPS was my first warehouse job. I was working at the little shipping joint where they fly it out. I was at that joint. But what I learned from Amazon is you can't hide from time. What do I mean by that? A lot of times at Amazon, I would try to hide from time. It was little methods that I had. It was little hiding spots that I had where, I'd go and duck off and, hide from time. Try to speed time up a little bit, Try to run away from what's going on out there. And I had this supervisor, and she said something to me. And when she said it to me, I kind of took it the wrong way. But after some time, I kind of got what she thought. Or I kind of got what she was trying to tell me. She was like, you can't hide forever, right? She said, you always hiding. Because I just came back, like I said, I had little secret spots I'd dip off to for about 15, 20 minutes. Little methods. And she just looked at me and she said, you can't keep hiding forever. I was like, what you mean? She's like, you know what I'm talking about. And I was just like, whatever. Supervisor being a supervisor, but she was really being an OG. Like, she was really like, bro, you gotta face this shit, bro. she was like, every time it get busy, you disappear, right? And she was being honest. It'll get busy, shit'll get overstimulated. I'm like, all right, bro, I need a break. I can't do it. I can't, bro. I can't, bro. I was weak. I can honestly look back and say I was weak. Wasn't ready for that. Wasn't ready for the speed, the pace of things, the sense of urgency. I was still a child. I was still so used to everything going so slow and you having all this time to make decisions. Now it's like everything's done. I'm like, oh shit. Wait a minute. Slow things down a bit. Pause. I need a break. She was like, man, you can't keep running. What you realize, and what I've realized as I'm growing into adulthood, is you can't run from time. It's certain things, it's certain realities that you just gotta face. I'm getting cold. Turn that AC off. It's certain things that you just gotta face, bruh. There's no way around it, And there's certain things that it's gonna be hard, Working is hard. But what I realized is When I will work a job and I will actually be locked in on work, like this job I'm at now. I still have my methods, but for the most part, I stay locked in, and they be tracking your time and stuff. So like, if you're not keeping up to pace, they gonna come talk to you and shit. So you kind of gotta like stay up to speed. Time actually moves a bit faster when you're actually doing your job. Well, unfortunately, I got bad news for you. I'm sorry. What I've learned is time actually goes slower when I go hide. When I'm just locked in and working, it's like I look up at the clock. I'm like, damn, it's almost break time. But when I'm conscious of time and consciously taking breaks, it seems like the day goes twice as slow, bro. I figured it out. I'm like, bro, the only way you're going to get through this shit is by facing it. The more you try to hide, the harder you make it. The more breaks you take, the harder you make it. Because at the end of every break, what do you want to do? You want to take another damn break. It's like, it's like if you're playing a sport and you go into halftime. Now you got to go back out and warm up. Why? Because mentally you've calmed down. You've sat down. You're out of battle mode. So now you got to go, warm up and get your blood flowing again and get back into battle mode, right? Same thing at your job. When you take these breaks, you mentally take your mind away from the grind, right? So now your mind is somewhere else. So now you come back from the break and you're like, oh, I want to go back to La La Land. Fuck this. To hell with this shit. I want to go back to La La Land, bro. And now time starts to become dreadful because you're thinking of La La Land instead of what's in front of you, work. So what I've realized is it's really mental. You just got to stay in a working state. You can take your little breaks here and there. We're all human. I damn sure take my little, allegedly. I got my methods. But for the most part, man, I'm just locked in on the work until it's time to go, bro. And time goes by a lot faster that way. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say by the end of the day, it ain't whoop your ass. Like shit, today whoop my ass. Start to finish, But the day didn't go by too bad, The first half of it kind of flew by. The second half, how the second half of the day be. You just ready to go the fuck home. So it'll be a little dreadful. But I got through it. I got through it. And here I am now making this video. But the point I want to leave y'all with, I know I've said a lot. I'm good at saying things. The gift of the tongue. My gift and my curse, For the better or for the worse. No, it's a gift. It's a gift for real. I ain't going to call it a curse. We ain't going to speak that. But my point, I'm going to leave it here. Or Richawd make a video under 20 minutes? Let's lock in. No, for real, though. That's really what it is, though, bro. Like, period, in general. I'm realizing, like, it's not only just work where you have to have this work mentality. It's life. Right? You have your times in life where you sit back and you kick back and you relax. We have those times, our day off on the weekend, whatever. You may take a vacation or whatever. You get those times here and there. But for the most part, life is all about working, bro. And the more you keep yourself in a working state, the better you will make it your time. Sorry if y'all can hear that music. My neighbors just pulled up, bumping Big Papa. I do not own the rights to the music. Y'all probably can't even hear it. Damn, bro. If y'all get this video demonetized, we're gonna die for talk. No, I'm just playing. But I guess I'll end it off here, bro. It's all mental. That's the point. If you don't remember anything else from this video, remember this from old tired Richawd. It's all mental, bro. Mentally, it's times where I wanted to tap out today, I wanted to go ahead and use that sick time and go home. But I'm like, I can't keep milking my sick time, because I ain't gonna lie, I've been using a bit of sick time. I was like, I can't keep milking my sick time. A day's gonna come where I'm actually gonna need that sick time, and I'm gonna be upset at myself for wasting it. I was like, you gotta mentally get through this, man. It's not gonna be easy. I know you want to go home, but you went home. You know what happens when you go home. Your check is shorter, right? Your check is shorter. So you're here to make money. You got things to do. You got to work. See, when you go to work and you want to go home, that's you being in La La Land. You want to escape. You want to run away. You don't want to face what's in front of you. Work. But like I said, that's what's in front of you the majority of your life, bro. Work. You got to work to build something every single day, bro. Like I said, we have our days here and there where we get rest, where we kick back and relax. But at the top of the month, bills is due. Top of the month, rent is due, right? So that reality of work and having to build towards something is always there, bro. So mentally, you might as well just stay in a working state. Wake up in a working state. Go to sleep and thinking about how you're going to work the next day. And embrace that shit, bro. Embrace it. And mentally, you will be stronger to get through it. It won't be so dreadful. It's still going to be hard. It's still going to be days where you like, I'm tired of this shit. But you're going to get through it. We all have our days, man. Every dog has his motherfucking day. Don't know. No woe is me over here, right? We overcomers over here. I'm teaching y'all how we going to overcome it. How we going to overcome it is up here, bro. A strong mind defeats all. A strong mind, a strong will, some guts, you know, some grit. Having the mindset of no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Whatever's put in front of me, I can conquer it. Having a conqueror's mindset, bro, that's what's going to get us there, bro. No matter what we're faced with, bro, because we're going to be faced with a lot of things. But we will overcome it as long as we believe and have that will to do what's necessary to overcome it, bro. So to those out there who just got off of work or maybe on their way to work, or it may be your off day, but you got work tomorrow, you know, you just tired. You want a break. You need a vacation. You know, you need to pull the Dennis Rodman, go to Vegas for a couple of days and, you know, go to La La Land for a bit. I feel you. I feel like Dennis Rodman right now. Hey, Phil, I need to go to Vegas for a few days, man. Shit. All right. I need to go. Right. Just give me 2 days, Phil. I'll be back. I'll be back. You know, but hey, nigga gotta let loose, man. I'm finna crash out. Hey, all I'm saying, Phil, you don't gotta let me go to Vegas. Well, all I'm saying, nigga, if you don't let me go to Vegas, I'm gonna crash out. So it's in your best interest. Let me go to Vegas for a few days, man. Let me clear my mind a little bit. This shit getting heavy. I need some relief. For those who need some relief right now, you need a break, but you can't get one. Life don't stop. Like you want things to slow down and take it slow, but you can't take it slow no more. It's not high school. It's not middle school. You're not a kid anymore. When you take it slow, bills get behind. When you take it slow, you know, now you done lost your job because you done missed too many days. When you want to take it slow, all you do is make things worse. See, when you was a kid, you was taught to slow down a bit, calm down a bit, drive slow. You know what I'm saying? What Kanye West say? Drive slow, homie. You never know, homie, about these hoes, homie. You need to pump your brakes and drive slow. When you was a kid, they was telling you to slow down. When a girl out there being fast, her mama tell you, slow your fast ass down. And when you're an adult, you realize, man, being a child was so great, man. I could literally just take time to compartmentalize things. When you're an adult, you don't have time for that shit, bro. You got to go to work in the morning. You can compartmentalize it tonight, but nigga, by the morning, you need to be compartmentalized and take your ass to work. You know? But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man, for these niggas' music get me goddamn demonetized. But just know we gonna win this war mentally, bro. I'm out.